Hey everyone, Zach Diamante here for Kindlepreneur, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to snazz up your author bio to lean into your author brand, and 5 keys to writing a solid author bio. Now you might be wondering, is having an author bio even all that important? Well, actually it is, and there are 2 main reasons why. Number 1, unless you're a household name, you have to build credibility with the reader. If a reader doesn't think you're credible, they read your book with a cynical eye and judge every mistake they find. Or worse, they won't buy your book in the first place. And reason number 2, more than ever, consumers are buying books from writers they want to support. If someone learns more about and relates to the author, they are much more likely to buy. So the reality is that your author bio does a lot more than you think. It builds credibility. It affirms whether what you have to say is worth reading. It tells your target audience that you have a book for them. Readers may actually relate to your personal story, and you will sell more books. The even crazier part is that you'll be using this inside your books on your website where you can go a little more in depth. Podcasters will borrow from your bio when you go onto their shows, and many, many other uses. So having a really good author bio is kind of critical. Okay, we get it, Zach. Having a good author bio is important, but how do we write a good one? Well, before we dive into our 5 keys of our author bio template, we have to keep 2 things in mind. 1, we want to keep our author bio tight. We're talking 50 to 100 words. Almost every bio I've been asked to write, either for a publisher, a podcast, a website, a conference, or whatever it was for, fell into 2 categories. Either a 50-word bio or a 100-word bio. And the second thing to keep in mind is to know our target audience. Tailoring your bio to your audience is super important. For example, if your book is a middle grade comedy, but your author bio reads like a middle grade textbook, people might get a little confused and wonder if you even really know how to write comedy. It's probably not going to connect with potential readers, and it's definitely not going to help your sales. I'll show you a good example of this in just a minute, but let's dive into the 5 keys of our author bio template. Number 1 is begin with a punchy, impactful first sentence. Number 2, introduce your area of expertise or your unique personality, depending on the genre. Number 3, build credibility without overly bragging. Number 4, add a personal touch, such as a hobby or favorite TV show. And number 5, finish on a call to action. Check out the new book, follow on social media, etc. Now, this is a great list, but let's see how we can integrate that into our author bio. Let's dissect my own. My author bio reads like this. Z.S. Diamante is the award-winning author of the Stone and Sky series, an epic fantasy adventure, and Guard in the Garden, the first book in the Fables of Finlestia cozy fantasy series. He attended college forever and has far too many pieces of paper on his wall. He's a U.S. Air Force veteran and worked in ministry for over 10 years before pursuing creative endeavors full-time. He and his wife live in Colorado with their 4 children, where they enjoy hikes, camping, and tabletop games. You can get a free series of stories at zsdiamante.com. Connect on social media at zsdiamante. Now in the first sentence, we start off with a bang, telling readers exactly what they want to know and what to expect. I'm an author who's written multiple fantasy books, both epic and cozy. Notice how it's not only impactful, but it also builds credibility by letting the reader know that I'm an award-winning author without being overly braggy. Now, I could mess that first sentence up by telling everybody how great Stone and Sky is, how it's won over a dozen industry awards, how it's been a finalist or semi-finalist for half a dozen others, but that instantly tips the scale to overly braggy. I mean, doesn't that sound goofy when you start listing all those things? Save it for the long bio for the website where people are actively looking for more information on you. So we'll keep it simple by saying Z.S. Diamante is the award-winning author of the Stone and Sky series. Then, in sentences 2 and 3, my bio introduces me and my unique personality and perspective. We also add a dash of humor so people know we're going to have fun with these books. And in fairness, I did go to college for what seemed like forever. Then, a little more about my background, which is particularly important for readers looking into my book, Guard in the Garden. It's a veteran's healing story told in a cozy fantasy setting. People knowing that I'm a veteran myself will instantly be intrigued to know more about the book. But now we have the last 2 elements. In sentence 4, I add a dash of that personal touch talking about my family and the fun we like to have together. Interestingly, that sentence speaks volumes to people when I tell them that Stone and Sky is a family-friendly epic fantasy. They see I have kids of my own, and it's easier for them to understand why I would write my fantasy books that way. And in the last section here, you'll see I have a clear call to action. In fact, I sneak in 2 if I have the space in the word count. You can get a free series of stories at zsdiamante.com and connect on social media at zsdiamante. This gives folks an option for whichever action they'd like to take. Join my readers list or connect with me on social media. Okay. This bio looks pretty good, but I also have a horror novella coming out for a publisher, and I need to tailor my bio a little bit to make sure that it fits the vibe for that audience. Z.S. Diamante is the award-winning author of the Stone and Sky series, an epic fantasy adventure, and cut his writing teeth in horror short stories. He went to college forever and has far too many pieces of paper on his wall. He is a U.S. Air Force veteran of Operation Enduring Freedom and worked in ministry for over 10 years before pursuing creative endeavors full-time. He and his wife live in Colorado with their 4 children, where they enjoy hikes and telling scary stories around the campfire. You can get free stories at zsdiamante.com. Connect on social media at zsdiamante. While much of this looks the same because the basic framework and template is the same, let me draw your attention to 2 important changes. First, you'll notice that the first sentence is different. Here we've changed the wording from the fantastical fantasy fun and turned the vibe toward the horror side. Even saying something as simple as he cut his writing teeth in horror short stories changes the tone and the way this reads entirely. And check out this last sentence. Notice how we changed it from he and his wife and children enjoy hikes, camping, and tabletop games to hikes and telling scary stories around the campfire. This caps off the shift in tone from fantasy and fun to horror and eerie. And now you might be wondering, well, so what? I can update my author bio? Absolutely. There are actually several good reasons to update your author bio. Did you win an award? Featured on a famous talk show? Going through a divorce or other major family issues? If you mention your spouse or now estranged children in your bio, you may want to change that. I know this one's a little bit dark, but it does happen and it is something worth considering. Maybe you earned a prestigious honor or academic position, or maybe you published a new book. That last one's my favorite one. I recently had to update my bio myself for that very reason. And these updates don't have to be huge. They can be really easy. Let's take a look at my old one versus my new one and see the differences between the 2. Here's the first sentence for the old one and the new one side by side. Funny enough, the first sentence is really the only thing that changed between my old bio and my new one. The old one says, Z.S. Diamante is the award-winning author of the Stone and Sky series, an epic fantasy adventure and the result of his love for fun and fantastical stories. The new one says, Z.S. Diamante is the award-winning author of the Stone and Sky series, an epic fantasy adventure, and Guard in the Garden, the first book in the Fables of Finlestia cozy fantasy series. Notice how it still sets a vibe for what readers can expect, but adds viable information for them. The added bonus of this is that it tells readers of a book that they may not have known about, giving them the knowledge they need to purchase an extra book or even an extra series from you. Now that's pretty cool. I hope this video has been really helpful for you as we've broken down the anatomy of a good author bio. If you'd like to have a written author bio template to reference while you work on your own, we've got an article on Kindlepreneur.com that will give you just that. And I've got the link for that in the description below for you. Again, I hope this video was very helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, ever onward.